Good morning. I hope you are all doing well and that you had a great day yesterday and yesterday evening, and that you had a chance to network with the community. It's really a pleasure to be moderating this panel. So we'll be talking about novel foods, feeds, ingredients, but especially products in the market and how can we get great technology with real impact in the market. So we have here a great panel that will be discussing different products from feed to food to cosmetics. So we have, as Filipa said, Rui Fortunato from Razões Zedro and Pat Maxi that will talk about their collaborations with Entergreen and also about a product that is EP1 premium with insect protein, and I believe other things that you have also in preparation. We'll have Pedro Pissarra talking about Spurvure, the first ingredient from Chrysia Labs. We'll also have Diogo Castelo Branco from MicroHarvest talking about ilex, but I also know that you have other things that you are also launching. And we also have Joana Cunha from Solfarcus, that I think will also talk about their collaboration with K18, but also other things that you are developing. And we also have Francisco Gandera from Collab for Food that will also tell us how a collab can help in bringing more products to the market and also collaborate with different companies with their particular expertise. So we will start with a first round with a short intro about the company and about the product. So, and I suggest we start with Joana Cunha, that is the lead officer of Project Technology and Regulatory Affairs at Solfarcus. Joana, the floor is yours, and thank you again for being here today.
Just closer. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's really a pleasure to be here in such a great place and audience. I'm really proud of being representing the company. Solfarcus, is it possible to pass the slides? Okay. So Solfarcus was created in 2016 as a spin-off of the University of Minho in the north of Portugal. I placed a mark before in 2015 as it was the year that the research group from Professor Turcavaco Paulo from the Center of Biological Engineering was granted 5 million euros for the development of a new treatment for rheumatoid arthritis. So this was a second step from a previous early development, and thank you. And it meant to translate to the clinics this new therapy. And I mention this because Solfarcus was created as an objective of this project. Go back. Okay. To explore this technology and bring it to the market. But actually, at this point, the research group from Professor Artur Cavaco Paulo already had 8 years of development in the hair care development with ingredients and small peptides for hair treatment. And in 2017, we published a scientific article that called the attention of a CEO of a company, Aquis, from the United States, that wanted to increase and diversify their products. Aquis was a company selling towels for drying the hair, and they wanted to have their own line of products for hair care, shampoos, hydrating masks, oils. So this CEO contacted Professor Artur with the interest of creating a partnership, and we actually had these products with a KP peptide, K from keratin-derived peptide, that was already selling in Canada. So Aquis bought that company, CarePep, and started to sell these already made products. But in 2020, in COVID era, Aquis created a new brand called K18 and gave a new image, a more vibrant, more youth image of these products. So K18 brand entered the market. This brand was actually containing this KP peptide, a peptide developed and created by Solfarco's team. In 2021, the work with this new therapy for rheumatoid arthritis was developing, and we actually had a few delay on the implementation of the first phase 1 clinical trials with COVID. We had to delay it, but it actually came through, and this therapy revealed very safe in healthy volunteers. And in 2022, going back to the cosmetic products, K18 actually became a market leader in these molecular repair products for hair. Solfarcos, during this process, and due to the great success of K18 brand, was able to move out of the university and had their own facilities. Close to university, a small space, about 100 square meters, with a small and very humble lab. But due to the success of K18 brand, we were able to expand, have our own and great facilities, and we remodeled a state-of-the-art a building in Braga, in the center of the city, with state-of-the-art laboratories, well equipped with everything we needed to pursue with our research and analysis. Also, we were always looking for new ingredients because we were selling our peptide to K18. And at this point, we already had in mind a new protein, a recombinant protein, that had that small peptide and a larger function. And we wanted to produce this protein in our own facilities, because actually Solfarcos and its value is in the minds of their researchers. So we value very much the intellectual property and the maintenance of this, the knowledge inside the company. So we wanted to be ourselves to produce this new protein. And we had an investment from Aquis that helped us to create this new production unit inside our own facilities. Actually, in 2024, in March, we launched this new product. It is a dry shampoo called Air Wash, and it's different from all the other shampoos, dry shampoos that are on the market, because it has this protein that is able to capture the bad odors and release the fragrances in a controlled way. So you have the feel of your hair fresh, and also the technology that does not create like a build in the hair like dry shampoos always does. Also, now we are actually testing our new rheumatoid arthritis treatment in patients. Patients are being treated right now with our liposomes, with our new technology, and we are very proud to be here in Portugal with a therapy that was fully developed by Portuguese teams, produced in Portugal and tested in Portugal at this stage. Basically, this is the story of the company. And we are now trying to diversify our products. We are searching for other raw materials, looking to the nature. We use nature as an inspiration to create our products, but also using the raw materials that nature gives us directly. For instance, we are one of the partners from Insecterra. Some of you also are partners. And we are exploring the use of insects as sources of biocompounds for cosmetic products. Just to tell you a little bit more so you can understand how this KP peptide works and was discovered. So we did a large-scale screen of human keratin genome and defined and identified some peptides that were rich in cysteines that had a great ability to and affinity to link to keratin. And then we synthesize these peptides that are about 10 to 13 amino acid long and saw that they had the ability to actually link and reform disulfide bonds that were broken in the air. And because this is such a small peptide, I have here the model that you see in the slide. So this is a hair fiber. Se calhar posso pousar aqui. Eu pus aqui. This is a hair fiber, and this is what you see outside your hair. This is the cuticle. Here it is the cortex, and it goes into smaller structures. This side here is the molecule of keratin. Keratins are alpha helices proteins that form dimers, this one, and then form tetramers, these two. And they go agglomerate into more complex structures, and in the outside, there is the cuticle. So current products based on keratin are made of keratin that is lysed. This is a very large protein, and then you have smaller fragments. But still, they are large and cannot penetrate into here. And our very small peptide has the ability to go and penetrate these all layers and form new links here at the molecular level. That is why it is called a molecular repair treatment. So Aquis rebranded the image of the products that we had already on the market, created these very appealing and vibrant products, and basically won the world. And just on the other side of our work, that is actually all financed by the cosmetic area, is the pharmaceutical area. That is just for you to have a small and simplest idea of the complex of the process, and the money we have already invested, though much more is still yet to come. So because rheumatoid arthritis is a chronic disease, we have a more complex development than drugs that are made for acute diseases. And despite we are already in the last part of the development, already in the middle of the clinical phase, we still have about 8 years before this therapy goes into the market. But this is actually going to be very revolutionized because it will decrease the amount of injections these patients had to intake, low adverse effects, lower doses, and we think we are here really to change the world in the rheumatoid arthritis area. Okay, so I spoke too much. I will change.
Thank you, Joanna. It was really good to learn more about your story. I think your story, it's really one of those that we need to know more and that should be spread. I really recommend you to not just Google for sulfaricos, but Google for K18. K18 is it's very, very popular. It's huge in the US. And it's amazing that what is in the core of that product, it's something that was developed here in Portugal. Yeah, I think this is one of the things that we really should highlight about the things that we can do in Portugal, and one of the examples of the products that the Portuguese biotech is delivering. So now we will move to another product or to another company, and we have Pedro Pissarra from Chrysia Labs. Pedro, what is Pervier and how you get there?
Thank you. I think it works now. Thank you. Thank you very much. So my name is Pedro. I had a 25-year career in a biopharmaceuticals, drug development, manufacturing. And in 2019, we divested from those businesses. 2018, actually, good timing before COVID. And we decided, well, we spent 25 years looking after the ill. Why are we not looking about the healthy population, which is 2/3 of the planet, really, and only 1/3 is ill? Especially with the advances of beautiful mRNA and CAR-Ts, the disease market is getting fragmented. So the people which are ill, they are the ones who actually get those treatments. So I've got 2/3 of the population as a target, so a much higher market. Crisea started as a basically serendipity, just by chance, through the group of a professor called Jens Nielsen in Denmark. State-of-the-art technologies, probably one of the most well-known researchers in synthetic biology. And in fact, what we do is new jargon words with very well-established technologies. When fermentation was fermentation, now they call it precision fermentation. Well, molecular biology is cloning genes, now is CRISPR-Cas9. So we went with those developments, and we looked at on how to integrate a complete supply and value chain in synthetic biology in order to take products to market, those being either nutrition supplements, where we do an extensive regulatory and clinical trials path, but also we've got hemoglobins, for example, for artificial bloods, and a variety of other products that go even to marine resources, to chelating agents for fisheries, and feeds and supplements. So it's very diverse. We try to think, actually we do believe, that all these things are technologies. When people talk about AI, it's a tool. When talk about CRISPR, is a tool, fermentation is a tool. How do you put all of that together in order to produce a product? That's our vision, and that's what we've done. So basically, we program biology. All of what we've got came from Denmark, elaborated in Portugal. We applied all of this to the first product, fully developed here. We worked with Silico Life, with Biotrend, Rodon Biologics, the Eberfar Group, all of them, the whole supply chain. The only things that we did externally were the clinical trials, which were carried out in the US, very expensive. So we want to bring those into Portugal, into healthy populations now. And the team is quite experienced. So let me tell you in 5 minutes how we picked up an ingredient which is known in nature. There are these 3 polyamines which are called cadaverine, putrescine, and spermidine, right? So I think I heard all the juvenile jokes about the spermidine stuff, so it's quite funny. We keep elaborating on those as the years go by. The fact is that spermidine plays a role in the induction of autophagy, which is a mechanism which was discovered in 2016 and earned the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 2016 to a Japanese called Yoshinori Yoshimi, that identified how cells degrade and how humans, when they age, they lose the function of autophagy. Strangely enough, these polyamines are autophagy induction. I'll spare you the science and the mechanism. And if you think along the lines that you don't want to get ill, you enter into the realms of managed healthcare. And how do you go through a trajectory of interventions? A pill doesn't solve it. There's got to be the diet. There's got to be no smoking, keep on the exercise, avoid alcohol. Don't do as I say, but just believe me, it works. But it's all this integrative approach towards healthcare where supplementation plays a big part. We all go to the supermarkets and you see that the shelves where supplements are being sold are the most crowded. You go to Salero Dieta here, is always crowded. So you give people a reason to believe. What happens is that most of these supplements are poorly developed. They're extracts. They're not pure. Variability from batch to batch is horrendous. And sometimes, I would say most of the times, the ingredient is not even there. So we've done that work, all right? So we set off to develop a compound called spermidine, an ingredient. And that's nice, because an ingredient, the question is, what are you going to do with it? So we branded the ingredient as Previve, and we developed a product. What I would highlight here, and you can go through the slides, is all the regulatory work we've done. So we've got GRAS in the US, EFSA novel foods been filed, and safety agency in the UK has been sought for as well and filed. And in fact, we integrated the entire supply chain, I keep saying this, and value chain that goes from CRISPR-Cas9 through production, regulatory. We've done 2 clinical trials in the US, a safety and a pharmacologist and efficacy study. And all the science backing 2 of the publications are out. You can dig them out from there. They'll be on our website as from today. 2 more coming, and we started to establish cause relationship in clinical trials, observational trials, different endpoints, and we are not curing disease. We're just looking at what do these ingredients that so far were not able to be produced by mankind, and I've got the first example here. This is actually on the US market. This is 20 milligrams of this product, which was never produced in the world, was never given to humans. We carried out the clinical trials, took our conclusions, off we go, we started to sell. Very important to this was to follow a very strict regulatory path. So we sought the US market first through GRAS. It's actually not as simple as people may imagine. We went to EFSA, a bloody nightmare, as the British would say. And from the EFSA dossier and the GRAS dossier we filed in the UK. And now we're going through the TGA, the Japanese authority, and Anvisa, and we are basically cutting and pasting our file in order to get regulatory approvals for all these markets. First question that comes to mind is that, does the consumer care? That's another story. But what I believe is that the consumer is getting more and more aware. People are getting a bit more demanding on what they want. So we're starting to get traction in questions. So at the stage of development that we are right now, we keep investing in regulatory paths, in production, in cost optimization, COGS optimization, but also creating awareness in consumers. And that's been the task. So here you find the way that we started to poise ourselves in order to go to market. So we started from a bulk powder, which we can sell the bulk powder. We did encapsulation here in Portugal as well, at Segredos do Campo, La Pharma. So we can ship capsules, of course, as the price goes up, as you can imagine. On the B2B side, we started to get people to say, can you provide us with the product? You say, yes, you can, but you have to abide to our guidelines in terms of branding and how you're going to mention the product. So Spreviv is powered, so your product is powered by Spreviv. Spreviv is a trademark of Creuset Labs Portugal, and you can sell. Then we perfected the sales model by going through a wide label. Here you see our samples with our name, but put company XYZ there. We sell more or less at 20 euros a bottle, and they resell it at 55, so it's actually quite a nice margin for us, and they even make 100% margin. So by integrating the supply chain, you created the value, you created the dollars, you created the uniqueness, and nobody, to my knowledge, is doing what we are doing. What's our channel, just to finalize, is basically we go from the fermenter to the formulation to the packaging, and the first attempts to sell, which we did, and it's actually happening with some of the companies that are listed there, is via the practitioner channel in the US. So we sell to those companies and they put it on the market to the practitioner. They also do the consumer, and the consumer buys online. I don't foresee, with the amount of pipeline we have, that we would be entering into huge commercial operations. And so from our standpoint, I think if we can replicate this model a few times with another product coming in the next year and the year after, every 12 months we'll launch a product, I think we are a pretty happy company. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pedro. I think it's another great story. I'm very happy that you have now the real product with you.
Sorry, just one thing. We started in 2021.
But the work started before. So thank you. Now we will move to Francisco Gendera from Collab for Food. Francisco, can you help us to understand first what is Collab for Food and how companies like the ones that are here on this stage can benefit from what Collab for Food can deliver?
Hello, everyone. My name is Francisco, and it's a pleasure for me to be here representing Collab for Food. We are a Portuguese collab company, as you like to call it. We are based on the north of Portugal, but we also have facilities on Aveiro and in here in Lisbon. At the current time, we are more than 25 employees, mostly researchers. We work innovation on food. We have 25 associates that goes from the academy to the industry. I can give you some good and known examples like Superboc Group, Casa Mendes Gonçalves, Grupo Primor, Católica, etc. I would like to ask you if anyone on the audience is going to Cial in Paris. No? We will be there with a booth, a stand, where we will present two new products. One, it's a protein bar with bugs, and the other one is crackers with dresch and oat. Both are sub-products that otherwise will go to the garbage or animal food. So it will be a pleasure to show to everyone these innovations. There's the possibility for us to bring a third one. It's chocolate with algae. I can also tell you about two products, two success examples that we already made on this 40 years of existence. Two different drinks already saw and had the pleasure to go to the market, and Collab has also the pleasure to help the client from A to Z, also in the scale-up product. What can I say more? I prepare a more quickly presentation. I can tell you after about our challenges, and I don't know if you want me to talk a little bit what we do, what we are doing at the current time. As I spoke earlier, we are also in Insectera, and we see the insects as a very nice product, and it's for sure one of the ways, also plant-based, but we think that the hype is already going out. The algae also will be definitely a good solution. The 3D print food also for chefs, and also to give plant-based new approach and more appetizer. What can I say more? I can tell you about well, our daily goal goes from finding new materials and solutions, designing the future, giving all the help that the client might need in terms of regulation, packaging, clean labeling, food security, always with the more efficient technologies, and helping to avoid food waste. As I said before, we have multitask colleagues that works all these kinds of themes. So if we can help you with some of the things that I told you, it will be a pleasure to receive you on our facilities. And please follow us on our social media. We are always posting some funding posts and several stuff that might help.
Thank you very much, Francisco, for the quick overview of Collab for Food. I think there are different things that we can explore later in our discussion. So now we'll move from food to feed with Diogo Castelo Branco from Micro Harvest. Micro Harvest is a German/Portuguese company. Can you tell us more about Micro Harvest and also the things that you are now bringing to the market on the feed space?
Yep.
Thank you, Diogo.
Good morning. I'm Diogo from Micro Harvest. I just want to thank you for the invitation. It's always a good moment to present our really young company. So Micro Harvest is a biotech startup company. It was founded in 2022 or at the end of 2021 with just 2 employees. So the first founder and 1 scientist based it's in the facilities of Technical University of Hamburg. And in 2023, we already have our pilot plant, which is in Lisbon. Also the startup and the innovation ecosystem, it was quite of leverage to come to Portugal. And also our CTO, which is one of the founders, Luisa Cruz, she's also Portuguese. She was a lot of years in the Netherlands. And then she came back to just open this part of the company in Portugal. And our pilot plant just started working in November last year. So the main 3 pillars of Micro Harvest is to produce microbial protein. We want really to be scalable. This is like one big thing for us. Also bringing nutrition, so like really high quality protein, and producing it with sustainability. Okay, so just a quick overview of our company. We are already 39 people in just 3 years. It's like United Nations. We are 17 nationalities with just 39 people. We have 2 product types, so we produce the single cell proteins or the whole cell, and also extracts from it. So the first product that we have launched in the market, it's an extract that was starting with aquafeed, also for regulatory reasons. It's also easier, so we started with aquafeed, then already with pet food, and now just starting with food. So I'm a food technologist. I joined Micro Harvest to start developing the food applications. We already developed some food prototypes with within different food categories, and this year we already filed our first novel food dossier at EFSA. And we now produce at the CMO in Europe. We can already went from lab to pilot scale, and now we are already at 1 ton per day scale. So this is, I think, quite a good achievement from our company in just 1.5 years. That's quite amazing, and we are now increasing to maybe around 10 tons per day of just testing it to make it really scalable, because we think this is one of the things that most of the companies in this ecosystem really struggle, is to scale things, and we are already making giant steps on that path. So just from last year, we already have GMP Plus certification for feed, so we already start, as I said, selling in the aquafeed especially, and also we launched it at Interzoo May this year, with a company, a German company, pet food company. It's called Vagdog. Our the first micro-protein pet treat. So then I will speak maybe more with Rui, because yeah, it was like the first launch. And also on the aquafeed side, we made several trials with shrimps mainly and salmon. And what we have achieved is like higher digestibilities than fish meal, for example. Our product have all the essential amino acids, and also the limiting amino acids is not methionine, which is good for people who are in this in the plant-based or the alternative protein ecosystem. This is quite an important thing because normally it needs to be supplemented. What else? So what we really want to be in is there is a huge gap and it will be even more. So population is still increasing. Pet food population, population is also increasing, and yeah, we are there not really to substitute everything, but just to be part of the solution, and we can also be along with other plant-based alternatives, but also with insect proteins that for sure will be part of the future. So we think and we know that sustainability will take part of this solution, and one of the main strengths we have, Microharvest, is our scalability and the robustness of our process. So we are using more than not just only one strain. We also can work with different side streams. We want to make Microharvest global, so we need to work with different side streams. If we have plants, for example, in Asia or in Europe, different side streams can be used. So this is something that we know already that we can work with, as long as we can use a carbon source. It's working. So this is like, I think, why we are moving fast, and I think there's a great future ahead.
Thank you very much. Really, really nice story. And now from a very young company and focus on innovation and technology, we'll go to a well-established company, Rações Zezer, very popular and with a long history. So Rui, can you tell us more about Rações Zezer and how you are bringing innovation to your products?
Mm-hmm. Thank you by the invitation, Simão. English for me is a challenge, but I will accept it. I'm not here today by Rações Zezer. Rações Zezer, it's a family-owned business in feeding company with 40 years, but I'm here today by Pet Maxi. Pet Maxi have 8 to 9 years, started in 2015, with the aim to give well-being to the companion animals, pet food. So we don't have so many time, 8 to 9 years. And one of the key points, it's always to take science to the feed. People who don't know, I think the biggest part of you, it's more difficult to put a product in the market for feeding animals than for humans. For example, insects, we have 2 approved for feeding for animals, and for humans we have 11. Why? People eat animals, so animals, the feed for animals, we have to make sure it's completely safer and it's not struggle the life of humans after. So it's we have to prove it everything we put in the market. Europe have a very big challenge. We are not alone with the protein source. We are 80 to 90% with the need of soy from Brazil, Argentina, or United States. So 5 to 6 years ago, we started to work with endocrine and to try to test some alternatives to soya. First we started with chickens, and we proved it was possible to produce with insects instead of soya. And we have to wait 3 years, I think more than 3 years, but 3 years minimum, for the regulatory of the European Union to try it in pet food. So after we have these approvals, we start to work with endocrine to produce a pet food with 100% insect protein. What is this? What is the advantage of that? It's a completely novel product, so we can claim it like hypoallergenic. Why? Animals, the allergies starts with the proteins, and a protein who develop an inflammation after eaten by the animal. So like insect is completely different. The biggest part of animals don't pursue it with inflammation and with the allergens. So yeah, the first challenge was to put it working. We have to prove it's safe microbiologically, the chemical analysis, and pesticides and insecticides. This is very challenging. Why? Because the insects are raised in vegetable byproducts, and these vegetable byproducts should be safer, and we make sure it's safe. It's not any pesticide like glyphosate, for example. So the product, it's dark. Why? Because we work with black solder fire. The name, it's in the name. And I think the biggest surprise of this product was no one, I think, expected. I don't know if the video can work. Can you try the video? I don't know, I sent the presentation by mail, so yeah, it works. More than 90% of the dogs prefer the food with the insects. We don't know why, but it's amazing. This is the owner. So we work to make dogs with the dogs and owners happier, and to give dogs more well-being. A little bit more from the company. The company have 8-9 years. We are a Portuguese company, family-owned. We export to more than 40 countries. We were this year in Interzoo, in Bologna. Yeah, we sell for, we just don't sell to Oceania. We sell to every continent. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Great story. Thank you. So you all mentioned the international aspect. So I'd like to explore that a bit with you, because it seems that we can develop locally or with the selected collaborators this pipeline, but to have something that makes sense, we always need to find something with a global application and also covering different markets. So Joanna, you are balancing cosmetics application, but also looking to pharma. Can you tell us a bit more on how you are balancing both sides of this product development strategy, and also the role of your international collaborators? You have a strong backer that I imagine gives you access to markets that are not so easy to penetrate.
Yeah. So internalization was the start of it. Because, as I mentioned before, we had already the products, the cosmetic products being sold by a first company that was then acquired by Aquis. And this first company was based on Canada, just for the simple case of the contacts that were in the network of Professor Turcavac Paul. And they started to be sold in Canada, Australia, and the US. So from then, Aquis was a very small company in the United States. But actually, with the creation of the K18 brand, it truly exploded and reached the world. In the case of nationalization, we are selling prestige products. So it's actually very difficult for a Portuguese consumer to buy one of our products. Now, K18 is very much present in the social media, and younger girls mainly are now very much aware of the brand. And when we go to the fairies and spin-off events of the university, many girls come to me and say, "Oh, I know the company. I didn't know you were Portuguese and you are here from Braga." Yeah, our name is not in the packages, but yes, we are the scientists behind it. And I always like to point the name of our ingredient. It's there. SH oligopeptide 78 is our product. They are very much impressed, and they always want to try, because they don't have the money to buy one of those at Sephora or at Pluricosmética. So in Portugal, we understand it's a very difficult market. In Europe, like maybe UK, France, Germany, northern countries, maybe they are willing to try, but in Portugal it's really hard. About the pharmaceutical area, as I said, we are really proud of all the development being made in Portugal. We have strong partnerships with Blue Clinical in the clinical implementation and the regulatory side, and Blue Pharma is the manufacturing partner in Coimbra. But sure, we will need to have, when we are ready to sell the technology to a big pharma, we already have contacts from some pharmaceutical company that wants to become part of the development. We are not ready yet. We know the value of our product, but sure, we will have to move from there.
Thank you very much. Pedro, can you tell us the story how you got Juvenescence, a strong player in the longevity space, as a first backer, and also how you found the technology at DTU, to things that were not available locally, but you went there and you get it, and then you found Portuguese partners that could help you to fully develop the process and the product.
Okay, thank you. I'll start to say that we are geography agnostic. It's horses for courses. What's good in Portugal, what's good in the UK, what's good in the US, what's good in Scandinavia, where we got the technology from. It was very simple. In fact, we raised around $9.5 million just in 4 months. We got first to none technologies out of Denmark. By the way, Crisey is an Irish company where all the IP is. Again, horses for courses. You can't compete with such a tax regime. Look, I'll save you the details. And we went to various investors, VC funds, and I heard ever and ever again the same story. What's so new about your technology? What's so new about this? Oh, blah, blah. But the Portuguese angle never came into play because I think we were in the market well established in other businesses like biotechnology, rodent biologics, all of that, for 25 years. So people knew us already. So we went to the network, but coming more with the same venture capital mantra that at the end of the day is always the same. People could say, oh no, we're here to build companies and help entrepreneurs. No, it's a complete amount of rubbish. I'm yet to meet one, to be honest. So Juvenescence, and I'll take back what I said, Juvenescence was actually the one we met. So we presented to them the spermidine case and a pipeline of products. And immediately said, oh, that changes everything. And in 4 months, we went to Juvenescence. They committed about $5 million. And I told them, I think we can top that up. And they went, well, where are you going to get the other 5 million? And we said, well, we can go to a program in Portugal called the 200M. And people called me crazy to go to the 200M again because it's going to take... Well, it was a beautiful process, worked extremely well. They matched up the 5 million. We set it up, the supply and the value chain in Portugal. That was our commitment. And in fact, from there, we started to subcontract all the local talent, knowledge. Things are well done here. And the case speaks for itself. We managed to get the US market, no questions asked. Now entering Europe, let's just say, well, to your point on on EFSA and novel food, could take 6 months, could take 6 years, you never know. But the UK angle looks very good. All done here, raising the money wasn't too difficult because we talked to the right people. The topping up was probably the secret sauce that gave us the depth to do all the work we did in just 3 years. So we're talking about 3 years of development, we did that. It was a great experience, and the fact of being here in Portugal was no problem. In the beginning, they were a bit skeptical. They wanted to sell the Irish angle more and more and more. But as time went by, they said, yeah, well, it's unbelievable what you guys done, so it's fine. So I think it's not a problem being here, provided that you play with the local advantages, avoid the local disadvantages, tax and labor law, that's a bit of a problem. All the rest sorts out by itself. And I don't see other funds being very hairy about Portugal. If that's a problem, we just move, we go somewhere else. But I don't see a problem.
Thank you. That's a positive perspective. It's good to hear that. Francisco, you're mentioning your activities in trade shows and abroad. Also, I imagine as a first presenter of products that you are being developed by yourself, but also from your associates. Can you tell us a bit more on how you are doing business development and also attracting partners to you, but also to the members of Collab for Food?
Well, first of all, I would like to share that we have already 2 international clients, one from Netherlands and the other from Angola. So it's a pleasure for us to give you that notice. The step that we are doing, going to Cial, is only going to the biggest fair of food in the world. About 300 visitors. In terms of internalization, we also have, not like Diogo with 17, but 3 different nationalities. We have Maria from Nicaragua, we have Tala from Pakistan, and Denise from Hong Kong. So even the mindset that we breathe is worldwide, and we try to bring it to all the products that we work, since ice cream to sauce to hamburger to everything. So for us, Portugal is good, but we have biggest ambitions, and we are sure that our future will pass by also on consortiums and other kinds of clients worldwide.
Thank you very much, Francisco. Diogo, MicroHarvest is also a German company. You explore both angles, the Portuguese angle, but also the German angle, how you are using that to establish partnerships. And I also would like to challenge you to connect this to the experience of your two founders, because I think that's also a very important aspect to discuss. So people that have been in the industry for many years, that have their own network and saw things happening in different contexts, and now running their own projects. I believe that also brings lots of knowledge that is hard to get.
Yeah, so I think MicroHarvest, yeah, it started in Germany, in Hamburg, because the founder was living there. Actually, Kate, she's Dutch, so she was working for an yeast extract company for many years, and then she decided to start her own business, her own company, and she knew Louisa for many years already. So Louisa, I think they met each other when they were studying in the Netherlands, doing their PhDs. And Louisa then worked also in a quite big fermentation-based company for about 10 years or so in the Netherlands. And then Louisa wanted to come to Portugal, and then Kate was starting this company. Then she called Louisa, do you want to join? And that's more or less how also this branch in Portugal, it was also because of that and because of the incentives for startups in Portugal. That was like, let's say, stars alignment to make this happen. But yeah, it was that the moment, and that's how things really come. And then another co-founder just joined, also because he had already, it's Jonathan, he's German. Actually, we don't have many Germans in the company. Actually, I think the Portuguese side is the biggest one. And Jonathan joined because he also had a lot of experience on, he already had a startup experience, success startup experience, and that's why he joined. So we have like Kate is our CEO, Louisa is a CTO, and more into operational side, we have Jonathan. But yeah, I think the place, it really doesn't matter. So we don't have that on mind. It's just by accident. It happened to be in Lisbon and Hamburg, but the ambition is to become global. So we don't have that boundaries.
Yeah, I remember when Luisa and Kate phoned me, asked me to give a quick tour of the Portuguese ecosystem. And it's great that in the end they decide to come here for all the reasons that you mentioned. But the products that you were mentioning before, from what I understood, you also have partners in different countries. You also have a German partner. Can you tell us a bit how that was developed, how you identified?
Yeah, so being in Germany, that's also a good help. But we are working with companies like in the Nordics, for example, for aquafeed, or in Vietnam, or Chile, India. So it's really where the needs are that we try to go there with, especially with local people, try to get the right partners. So one thing that Kate does a lot is it's being with like really developing the network, not only with investors, but finding the right partners for the different markets, not only yeah, pet food or aqua. Now we are starting already with the food partnerships to really to develop according to the needs of the market, to develop our products, and then, yeah, of course, we have these regulatory steps that we need to take, but we are just in advance or like early stages to develop the products according to the what manufacturers. So we are a B2B company, not we. At least there's no mission for the moment to be a B2C, so we really need to adapt to what the market needs.
Thank you very much. Rui, so Pet Maxi exports, is this product also available in other countries? How has been the reception of something that contains insects, not just here in Portugal? You showed us the consumer is happy, but in fact, the ones that are buying the product, unfortunately for you, is not the dog, but it's the owner. How has been the experience in tackling different markets?
It's more difficult in our field because to be good to the dog and to the owner, we have to accept it too. We are the acceptance in Europe is good. We have a problem now for this product with insects that the technology is not so well developed, and the costs of the good it's expensive now. Okay. Much better, thank you. We expect the cost of the insect meal decrease in the following 5 years, and it can be a product more easier to buy for all the people. But just to show a little bit how this kind of product is important for our company, we started 8 years ago. In 2-3 years, we were able to produce the first pet food in Europe, and there are just 2 in the world with fresh egg. And when we come to Interzoo, the most important fair in pet food, I don't know all, but almost all people from all the countries of the world want to buy our product. And this is, it's dynamite. It's easier to work with different products and different technologies. I think to be in Portugal for us, it's very, very, very interesting. We can be in another country, but Portugal have such good people, such good raw materials, so many opportunities. I think in the following year or in 2 years, we will take another product from fresh vegetables and will be something crazy. The other company who puts liquid egg were from Canada. It was Champion Pet Food and was bought 2 years ago for Mars with a record price. So I think we are doing something good.
Very good perspectives. Thank you very much. I have some more questions, but before I continue, I would like to ask if we have questions from the audience. Any questions? We have one from José Leal there.
Thank you very much for your interventions. I arrived a bit late, and when I entered the room, Pedro was describing in great detail the business model that you're implementing for one specific ingredient. And that just got me wondering if to bring novel foods, feeds and ingredients to the markets, we're just going to reuse the same old business models, or we need also to bring new business models to the table so that these new ingredients and foods reach their target audiences.
So that's exactly what we've done. Either we'd sell kilos and there'll be a very slow pickup curve in terms of profitability, or we would advance more on the supply chain and provide the full product in a pack, 30 pills, and then do you want our label or do you want your label? We're agnostic, provided you put at the back branded ingredients. Previve is a trademark of Cruzea, labs, Portugal. And just the difference is 1,000-fold in price, for example. You go from 6,000 euros a kilo to 32,000 euros a kilo equivalent, because it's a 30 pill. So that's innovative in a way to do it. But it was not easy, because you need to go through all the compliance and gain the trust of the buyer itself. So we have to guarantee, and then you shift the risk to the contractual risk. So it's never a perfect world, but once you pass that phase, you can start implementing that in a much smoother way. I would say that the supply chain is really difficult to establish, especially in this type of businesses. And you need to keep innovating, because then what we started to feel was the competition from the Chinese. They would copy anything, chemical synthesized, non-sustainable, dirty label, God knows what's in it. Actually, to be fair, some of them were very pure products, but no regulatory backing. And that created the necessity for us to innovate in the way that we would put the product in the practitioner channel. So the next task for Criseia is to build the commercial angle, now that the technology and everything is in place and all the supply chain is in place. But that's a very good point. You need to keep innovating. But I keep saying also that by reducing the risk of a business just to the commercial angle, I think it takes some doing. We managed to do that. So now let's see on how can we introduce the product through various channels, but always looking at larger margins, and that is achieved by going further downstream of the supply chain, in my view.
Thank you. More questions? If not, I will ask one. So, you all mentioned the regulatory aspect as something that is very, very tough. That it's difficult to understand sometimes and difficult to control. I'd like to hear your perspectives, maybe starting with Joanna, because there is one product that is for cosmetic applications that I believe it's easier to manage, but I imagine that's not so easy as we always want to. But also now what you're doing on the pharma side.
Yeah, so actually that is a great part of the headaches for everyone that wants to put a product in the market. And at Solfarcos, we had actually nobody specialist on the subject, and it was a little bit in trial error, looking for, okay, in what stage are we at? Who can we talk to? But we are a B2B company, so yes, we need to be responsible for safety of our ingredient and to show some results of efficacy to our clients to want to buy our product. But the last part of putting the product into the market, it's their part of the work. So in terms of the cosmetic side, we had more strict regulations in terms of European regulation, and less strict regulations in terms of the US market. But last year, US started to build up some more a degree of criteria to be met, very close to the European regulation, and it meant a change into the process in the end product, not so much at the ingredient side. So we were off that part of the increase in complexity. But in terms of the cosmetics, more than regulatory requirements, we have like more conceptual things, like vegan, like halal, like kosher, like whatever those terms mean, that are more beliefs than other things, but beliefs that also have a projection in the quality. So our client was very much focused on that part of the consumer beliefs that also play a very important role in the willing to pay and in the buying of the product. Especially if we go to markets like India and North Africa, because our product K18 and KP peptide is really a product for everyone's hair. We are also trying to work on people that have problems with no hair, so we will have there also a spot. Yeah. So maybe and in the pharmaceutical side, of course, we need to have regulatory preoccupations from the start, and we have Blue Clinical here helping us a lot in that part.
Thank you very much. So you mentioned so regulatory affairs is something difficult for a company to have in-house. Francisco, is this something that you also are able to provide guidance as a collab?
Yes, we have our own, sorry, we have our own regulatory department. And if we look, for example, to insects, it's a well-known product on Asia, but on Europe and US, it has to do several moments of approvals, but at the end of the time, we don't want another COVID, for example. If we imagine scale up small products that we are more than used to use, but we need to make sure, as we was telling, that every steps are secure. But we have that department, and it's very important for us, and to give that safety to our clients.
Thank you very much. In our preparatory call, we also talk about the feed regulatory implications with Diogo and Rui. I'd like you, if you could comment on that. I don't know who wants to start, but it was very interesting to understand. Of course, we are all aware of the differences between Europe and US, but even here in Europe, there are strong implications because we are here in Portugal. Maybe Rui, you can comment on that.
Yes, like I said, to this product, we were 2-3 years waiting for an answer. It was not from the Portuguese authority, it was from the European authority. And we have to work with two kind of problems. The European authority with all the guidelines and in this kind of works, we wait, like something said, or someone says, Pedro, or 6 months or 6 years, we never know. So, okay, we just wait. And after the European authority to give the okay to the product, we have to work with the Portuguese authority. DGAV, it's a veterinary authority for food and feed. And with them, it's easier to speak with them. They answer, but normally they don't know how to decide. And how they, after that, they send it to European Commission, and we are between these two. We need a lot of patience. And sometimes the companies don't have so many time, and we have to say to customers, okay, we have almost all the product developed. We have almost make sure that it will work like it works, but we have to wait by the approval.
Thank you very much. Can you head here?
For feed, so we have our products, 3 products currently approved for feed. It took a while, but we are sure that novel foods will take more. And the one thing is 6 months or 6 years. One of the, I would say, the worst case is not knowing. It's like, yeah, if we know it's 3 years, then okay, we know it's 3 years. But if we don't know it's 4 or 2 or 5, then it's much harder to handle this. So this is, I think, in Europe especially, it takes a long time, and we don't know how much time. So I think that should be something that we need to be a bit worried about, because this takes competitive, we are not being competitive with other regions in the world. So yeah, the UK is moving much faster on that side right now, so they are just more or less copying a bit like Singapore. But yeah, it takes time, and we don't know how much time.
Thank you very much. So time is up, but I don't resist to ask you for a final message. So a very short message to all of us that are developing a product, a key takeaway from all of you, and also if you can remind us where we can find your product or products. Maybe we can just start with Diogo and
okay, about finding our products, since we are a B2B or an aqua feed formulations or pet treats, maybe one day with Pet Maxi, who knows. And yeah, we really think this like biotech in food will really be part of a more sustainable food system that we need. And that's one of the reasons why I joined Microharvest, because I really believe this is a way of doing things much better.
Yeah. So we have confidential contracts that we cannot speak about, some products that you can find in the market. But once again, if you go to Cial, we develop all the branding for the crackers with the Dresch, and also the Bugtail bars, that high protein bars with bugs. It's awesome products, and we are sure that at least at the beginning of next year you might found it, and let's hope with a small stamp of collab. And next year I will bring some samples. Sorry.
So for Phosphorviv, you can buy it from New BioAge in the US. In Europe, and it's an advice I'll give to everybody, start to look at communities, because regulatory agencies do not control the whole thing anymore. So power of the people, they basically come to us and say, can we have that? And also bear in mind one thing, research exemption like you have in biopharmaceuticals. You can actually sell under that if you get all the consents for research exemption. So that abbreviates the EFSA novel food. Okay? So on the rest, we're waiting for EFSA so that we can make it more liberal.
Yes, so where to find our product as a B2B, we will not find Solfarco's name in the products, but you can directly assume K18 products are the ones deriving from Solfarco's technology, as we have an exclusive selling contract with them. So all our hair care and skin care products will have the name of K18. About pharmaceutical products, if you know somebody, your family or you, which have arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, you can speak to your doctor and see if you are eligible to enter our clinical trial, which are taking place in 8 hospitals here in Portugal. About an advice, believe in what you are trying to develop. Gather with the specialists, with all the specialists you have, form partnerships and move forward and communicate. Always communicate, very important. Invest in communication.
To find our product, Google it. It's easier. Google it, you will find it. who will work with new products, I think we should look, we work in feed, so look to nature, look to raw materials and dream it. What can be or turn people's lives better? We have so much things, and I think a key aspect, a small team. Do it with 4 or 5 people, and after that it will be easier.
Thank you very much. It was great to hear your thoughts here today. We learned a lot, so ask an applause for these great speakers. Thank you very much. Thank you. I think we will now move to the next session.